And welcome to Healthcare Sucks we're going to call this episode Hot Off the Press because there's just a lot to run through, guys. So I'm going to run through it with you and watch it with you. I haven't watched everything. So in all fairness, we're both going to get something hot off the press. Here we go. First up. Oh, it's not all over the United States. Really? Let's take a look.
Other patients are being evaluated, and officials say they won't be surprised to see.
Mayor Wright, 6 cases of coronavirus now confirmed in San Antonio.
4 other patients are being evaluated, and officials say they won't be surprised to see more cases.
Tonight, the city and the CDC are trying to ease concerns.
Eyewitness News reporter Roxy Bustamante spotlights the response team working to keep the virus from spreading.
Let's be clear. The most dangerous, damaging, infectious disease is hysteria.
Calming fear as the number of confirmed coronavirus cases.
And we call that at Healthcare Sucks, tapping it down. Because when it starts out where they're tapping it down, there's something to worry about, guys. We've all seen it now, have we not? I mean, it's not airborne. It is airborne. Spitty ones, now it's beyond spitty ones. 7 days, 14 days, now almost 30 days it can be contagious. Come on, guys. What story are you going to tell us next? You all think we were like born under a rock or something? All of us don't think so, do we? Because we know.
Continue to climb.
There are 6 confirmed cases that are located here in San Antonio.
Those who tested positive are being treated here at the Texas Center for Infectious Disease.
Everybody is at TCID. They're resting comfortably and they're stable, and that's the right place.
At least 130 others remain in quarantine on Lackland Air Force Base. A total of 30 local first responders with specialized training have been part of the team that transports and cares for those exposed to coronavirus.
It is taxing. What we've been able to do is on different days when we need to staff up, we do work through 12-hour periods, and so there's the rotations that take place on a regular basis.
The San Antonio Fire Department's mobile healthcare unit has also been working with Metro Health. They're attending to a small group of individuals who are under self-quarantine in their homes.
Our goal in that process is to provide like a concierge service. If they need something at home, we can go respond and help them.
Metro Health officials say they are not giving out.
So they can go to the door and catch it and spread it. Am I missing something here?
Specific information about patients to protect their privacy.
These folks have been through hell. I mean, can you imagine, if your grandmother and your grandfather were on a cruise ship just having a wonderful time and having to deal with this, right? And so we're really just trying to make sure that they're comfortable.
Roxy joins us live from Lackland Air Force Base. And Roxy, we just learned one of the coronavirus patients there was transferred to another state.
Yes, that's right, Deborah. In fact, we just confirmed that one person who tested positive for the coronavirus was flown from Lackland to Nebraska. Now, we have some of that video there of that plane landing.
Just for the choice 2 cents worth on that, to educate both of us, Nebraska, I guess, is the one with the most sanitary confinement, sterilized decon rooms, they're called. Technically, there's other names for them, but sanitized rooms, which are, airtight and stuff. I guess Nebraska has like 5 or 6. A lot of other states only have 1 or 2. Because overseas, where they're used to having this, in China and other places, they've got more of that stuff set up where we don't. So once this hits, there ain't going to be, which it's already done. It's already here, guys. So there ain't going to be all these rooms to separate people in. It's just not going to happen.
In Omaha, we're being told that patient is being reunited with their spouse who is also being monitored for exposure to the coronavirus. Now, we were told earlier by CDC officials that some evacuees will be transported from one quarantine site to another to be reunited with family members or to be stationed closer to home. Reporting live from Lackland Air Force Base, Roxy Bustamante, Can Spy, Eyewitness.
Which, good or bad, I understand being next to family and all that kind of thing, yes. But this we're seeing these people boom, boom, boom all over the United States. Why in the hell, we heard it was coming into California. Why didn't we just keep it in California? Lock it down there. You know, this comes back to one world agenda. Or one world order, agenda 21. You know, let's just spread this 12 monkey thing everywhere. I mean, let's let the monkeys out so they can go play all over the United States and all over the world. Basically, I mean, it's nuts. Now we're going to go and we're going to see where it's not just in the United States, guys. Or, in one state. Like we just said, there's more. So, let's take a look at this. Here's Alabama.
Of Alabama would be used to quarantine some American passengers from the Diamond Princess cruise ship in Japan. However, today, a change of heart. HHS said the Anniston facility was not needed, at least at this time, and it's identifying alternative sites. This follows Senator Richard Shelby, Governor Kay Ivey, and apparently even President Trump, among others, speaking against the idea.
So I just called the president on Saturday afternoon. He was on Air Force One on the way to India. He was completely unaware of this. He was annoyed that these individuals had even been brought back to the continental United States while they were still infected, but assured me that he would get to work on trying to stop it.
We have a training facility. We don't have a treating facility at this time. We don't. And we want to help, but it would have not been the right thing to do. I'm convinced of that.
Now, a lot of people are talking about this, and understandably so, with coronavirus being what it is. Senator Marsh says everyone needs to stay focused on this situation, and the reason, he says Anniston was at risk. Reporting live, Steve Alexander.
So you just heard it. They're not even equipped to deal with it. They're saying they were going to bring people there. What is the point of bringing people there? You know, this is beginning to sound like some real evil DEEPSTATE things going on. And then President T didn't know about things and getting all upset about it because he's like, what the hell are you guys thinking about? That's what I'm saying. What the hell are you guys thinking about? Here's another one. Michigan.
State are being monitored for the coronavirus tonight. That is according to the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
State released those numbers over the weekend, but we wanted to know, is there really a risk here in Michigan?
13 on your side's Amar Abbas spoke to experts in Kent County about the illness. And Amar, what do they say about it?
Well, Julia, those who are being monitored represent a medium or low risk for the virus, according to health officials here in Michigan. But they are still being very careful and advising individuals to remain quarantined for at least 2 weeks or more.
Well, I think this is why we do our job in public health.
The job at hand is trying to protect people in Michigan from the coronavirus.
And local health departments were, asked to monitor individuals coming back through to their jurisdictions from mainland China.
That virus from China has infected around 80,000 people and now killed more than 2,000.
We want to prevent the transmission of infection in our communities.
Around 325 people in Michigan are being monitored for coronavirus. Officials at the Kent County...
Excuse me? How many are being monitored? Another 325? You know, let's see now. How many thousand is that now in the United States? 1,000. Not 100. It's over 1,000. And it's probably several, I would guess. I'm going to try to keep count for us for a while. But off the top of my head, so far tonight, I'm counting about 800 in California. Here's 3. That's 11. Well, the other one was like another 3. So there's, 14. And we're not done yet. So, I mean, it's nuts. Another thing I'm going to try to get you guys some information on is the self-quarantine people are self-quarantining, 800 of them in California. I'm trying to get that story, but it's kind of hard to get. I'm sure it's out there. But I heard that they went to quarantine sites to try to turn themselves in so that they're protected. And they didn't want to take them. And so people are like blockading their own apartments and the homes already. This is not panic, guys. This is like preparing. Again, I'm not telling you what to do and how to do it. And I'm supposed to say this, by the way. We're filming under the Fair Use Act, is what we're doing. I just got a message. I had to see what it was. Under the Fair Use Act and also the Freedom Act, that we can share stuff. We're not making money off it. We're just educating people to make them aware of what's going on, because the fake news won't. So let's take another look at what's out there, guys. Here's 800 now. We had 700 and something in South Korea last night in military, remember?
Cases of the virus among South Korea's military personnel, extra measures are being taken to contain the disease. While some scheduled events took place as planned, several others were canceled. For details, let's start.
So we had almost 800 there, and 50 are cases that are, full blown, I guess. Now this is kind of dumb. They're going ahead with their taking in 18-year-olds for trainees and testing, bringing people in. I'm going to let you watch it. You guys give me your opinion.
To our Kim Ji-yeon.
South Korean men aged 19 or older are subject to medical checkups to see if they're fit for compulsory military service. This year's checkups began on Monday, and some 280,000 men will receive checkups over the next 10 months. Alongside the usual checks, including height and eyesight measurements, extra precautionary measures were carried out this year in light of the coronavirus outbreak. Face masks were required for all participants, while body temperatures were checked before anyone entered the building. 11 people who had recently visited China had their checkups postponed until a later date. Despite these measures, no one seemed to be complaining.
I've applied to serve in the Marine Corps, and the examination happened to be today. I've been careful to wear a face mask when going outside and wash my hands and feet when returning home.
The South Korean military is carrying out such precautionary.
And, there's really no way at some point anybody's going to know who has had contact with somebody with this. I mean, because there's so many people coming and going, and they're not quarantining long enough, and they're letting people out, and the tests are like over 50% of them are inaccurate now. So at some point, there's not going to, you could go to the store today, wherever you're at, and the person in front of you in the line could have it and touch that same counter. Bam. Guess what? You got it. And I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just making you guys aware, man, so that we can all prepare, because the way, excuse me, my dog's being a fat little hog. The way they're putting things out, guys, if we don't watch out for ourselves, who is going to? Let's check this out. I haven't watched this yet, but it talks about China's pushing the workers to go back to work. Let's check it out and see what it is, guys. Again, we're reviewing it together.
Continues as we speak, but earlier we're listening in the constant stress now following President Xi Jinping's yesterday's speech quoted on state TV, not just epidemic control and prevention, but now bringing in the very same breath social and economic development, epidemic control, poverty elimination, the resumption of work, and the creation of jobs.
And those really are China's economic goals that it has set, and social goals as well that it has set even before this epidemic took place. But just looking from these numbers, we can see that authorities are really wanting to get the economy back on track, getting its businesses back and resuming work, because when this epidemic took place, we saw a shutdown in many businesses, factories, manufacturing, and the country literally came to a standstill for a couple of weeks during that Chinese New Year break.
It's still at a standstill. What are they talking about? Push them out there to get it and to spread it more? That's not how you control these things. I mean, literally. I mean, I understand getting the economy going. With that, I heard that they're already pouring not billions. China's pouring trillions of dollars in their economy now. You know, between you and I, we all know the stock markets are all a bunch of hooey and hoaxy and fake monies and air. I mean, most of that is fixed, period. I mean, in one way or another, period. So, I mean, GDP and all that stuff, I kind of understand that's a little bit, you know what it is. But they're good. I watched something last night and it said China's GDP is going to be zero now, period. That's a drop to zero. You know, there's always lots of ways to look at it. We'll cover some more of that. Real quick, though, if we owe money to China and all this stuff, and vice versa, and all this money's owed here and money's owed there, maybe everybody needs to sit down at one table and start scratching off what's owed. And let's all get back to zero and start all over now, because it seems like China ain't going to be paying no debts. They're pumping false monies into things to keep it flowing. And that situation in China is just getting worse, guys. They're locking down apartment complexes, buildings, houses, homes, literally chaining them up. You've seen it. You've seen the videos here. And they're saying the food thing's all good. Well, it's not. As a matter of fact, I did another video where in Italy it's hitting over there real hard now and things are flying off the shelves, man. Real quick, again, if you can afford it, not that you should go out and kill yourselves or not pay your bills at this point, go and get supplies. I mean, what you think you're going to need? A little bit of like long term and then some extra things you eat. If you like milk, I suggest you buy some powdered milk. It's not the best thing in the world, but personally, I like milk, man. And it's like, you know, if it's cold, it's great. You know, it works. You know, if you've got children and stuff, you're going to have to look at, you know, snacks and things. And, you know, vegetables last a long time. You guys go buy vegetables and fruits in a can, you know. And dollar store had a bunch of these dehydrated fruit things, man, for $1 a piece. I bought a bunch of them. I'm going to go buy some more. Because if you need to, those dehydrated things, you could throw some in some like cream of wheat stuff or oatmeals or whatever, and you got a little bit of fruity taste to them, you know. Another thing is salt and sugars and things like that. You want to have some of that on hand. Salts, different kind of salts we use to dry out things, and to, heaven forbid, if you're out there hunting and you got to start drying and smoking things, there's different recipes that call for different things, you know, that you have to put it, if you want your stuff to be seasoned when you make jerkies and stuff. My neighbor makes that kind of stuff. I'm not big, so I got somebody close by that's going to teach me, in other words. With that, I've seen something else I wanted us to go check. Let's see if I can find it. I guess Chinatown's completely down or something. Something to look at again.
Brad, a much needed boost. Some of the businesses around here are down 80%. The group that met here tonight aims to change that and the stigma moving forward.
The silence says it all.
Everybody like scared.
At the empty Phoenix restaurant, a Chinatown staple of more than 30 years that's typically serving up small plates to packed tables right now.
Is it like not enough for cover like everything?
Longtime manager Fai Liang says fears about the coronavirus and the 2 confirmed cases in Chicago now recovered are to blame.
We bring our own money to like make the restaurant running.
And they're not the only ones hurting. Are local business owners here scared they're going to have to go out of business because of this?
Yeah.
Longtime residents Carlos and Jose organized a meeting in Chinatown Square tonight to show the struggling businesses support.
try to get the message out that, you know, there's nothing to be scared of out here in Chinatown, and some of these businesses and families are really hurting because of this stigma.
Come out and enjoy, have good food, and have a good conversation.
Here to show the rest of the city and the regular customers who've been
What do you guys think? What do you think? I mean, it's a nice thing. I understand businesses. China's already gone, man. I mean, what are they going to do? I have yet to hear. Are they just going to give everybody free rent and free food and free money now? Because that's what it is. When it gets carried away like this, nobody's going to have stockpiles of money. Not everybody's a banker or rich. Or back to the bankers, you know, we put out the banker hand, we get, yeah, we get loaded down, free monies. You know, no, we're not. So, you know, if it comes here, are we going to do that? Is the president, you know, not to get on his case, but is he prepared to, you know, give states? And then if you got your states, are they going to give you out what you need? Period. It's going to have to happen. And everybody that owes a mortgage, everybody that pays rent, it's going to have to be paid for them. It's going to be exemption. Everybody's going to have to be put on hold. The whole thing, our whole liveliness, guys, is in this. I mean, and it's going to have to be put on hold. You can't go kicking people out of their... We already have a homeless problem. You couldn't go kicking everybody out of their homes. These kind of things that we're talking about, my friends, it's not covered on the news. What are they going to do with this kind of situation? I mean, people are going to have to keep their homes. People are going to have to keep their apartments. People are going to have food. People are going to have water. You know, if you can't go to work because it's spreading too much and you're staying home, the government needs to step in. You know what? That's why we have a government. That's why we pay. That's why we elect these governor bozos and these real super bozos in the Senate and the House that I've lazed around and milked and stole money from off of our hardworking backs for years. You know what? They could put a pen to paper and cover it so that we're covered. That's right. And I mean it. If it gets to that point, you guys pick up the phones and you don't let them down. You call once, you call twice, you just keep ringing. You don't get the answer you want, you call another one. You know, that's why we have all these damn people working in the states that like per different counties. We don't need all these people anyway. They're all on a free ride. So they're on the free ride, let's make them work for us. That's right. And our governors, in Oregon, we got little do-nothing Governor Little Brain Kate. Literally, she's done maybe one or two things the whole time she's been in. The rest has been for people that, you know, don't live here, or people that don't pay taxes, or, you know, caring about other things other than Oregonians. You know, and that, I'm okay with it to a point, but really, at some point you got to take care of your own, and that's what we're talking about right now, guys. Is we're gonna have to be taken care of for once. Our government and all of our governments, from the top to the bottom, is gonna have to kick in and see that we're taken care of. We, the hardworking people, the people that pay taxes, the people that give up a third of their check or a fourth of their check. That's right. I'm fired up over this. This is where this is where I live. Healthcare, government bozos taking money and doing nothing. That's where I make my last stands. I could sit and I could debate for hours on it. And you know what? If I'm wrong, I'll admit it. But 99% of the time, 99%. Remember, don't forget that. You and I, 99%. Quick 99% throw out there. That's why we have these people, to take care of us. So when that time comes, they have a responsibility. They need to do it. We're not going to have this whole, more homeless than we already have, guys. It's an epidemic already. And if you think once that gets out there and this hits the homeless community, it's going to be like wildfire. We already have in California epidemics that we haven't seen in 20, 30, 40 years. Typhus, other things going on down there. The rats and the peeing, excuse my French, and bowel movements and going all that stuff out on the streets. They got a poop app in San Francisco. That's how dirty and nasty it is down there in Cal now. In some of the bigger cities, they've had rat problems for years, guys. So you think that this thing can't transfer from human back into animals and then spread? It can. Another thing we found out, sewage backs up and sewage problems over there. It's transferring that way. It's transferring. That's how we found out it was airborne. Is it was traveling through pipes and apartments and through air ducts into other people's places. Probably even with filterization. That was a tricky one. Depending how good it was, on those cruise ships. Like I went into that on one of my videos, guys. Just like jail air. In jail now, they don't have open windows and all that stuff. It's all sealed. It's all air over and over. And that's another thing. Once it hits and it gets into the jail system, kiss it goodbye. Ain't going to be no stopping that either. So, these are things that I don't see our elected people talking about. I don't see fake news. Any of them. The 5 or 6, whatever nightly news with all we talk about is political BS that doesn't help you or I, but gets us looking over here when the problem's right here and stuff. So I'm going to let you go on this because I'm coming back. I'm fired up tonight. We're going to talk some more. I'm going to go out and dig out some more things. There's a lot going on. I want to try to find the story about the California thing about people doing their self-quarantining and stuff. That's huge. With that, I'm going to let you go, and I love y'all, and think about it. That's all I'm saying. Write it down on a piece of paper, where you're at, what you're thinking. I put out a bartering part 1 on how to barter. Go through some stuff, play with that a little bit. This is bad times for that probably because we're in the... No, don't go out and have too much contact maybe here coming up really quick. But however, if things get really bad, you're going to have to maybe do some of that because I don't know if the government's going to... I just don't trust that they're going to take care of us, guys. I've got some ailments and illnesses, and I've done representative work and advocacy work for 30 years off and on just to help people. I've helped people get Social Security. I've negotiated pain contracts for people. I've helped people who can't communicate. I've helped people with disabilities, mental and physical, communicate with their doctors and stuff. And I just don't see the government's, unless we make them and hold their heels to the fire or their behinds, whatever, that they're going to do anything. Or they're going to take their time like they have with this whole thing. So with that, guys, I like that. With that. That's me coming back. With that, healthcare sucks. I'll be back.